Andy joining us?
Probably not, because she doesn't get up very early.
Neither do I. I'm here. Here's Raina. Raina's here too.
I know, I'm sorry. She's there. I don't know which room she's in.
Hi, Amelia. Hey, Carly.
Hello.
I can't find them.
Okay, so the meeting is being recorded. So, do we want to just reintroduce everybody
That would be nice, I think,
again? Why not?
because I think Rana wasn't here when we had our meeting. She was on PTO. Sheila, let's start with you. As you take a big drink.
So good morning, everybody. I am Sheila Mady. I am from Montana, very central located Montana. Been with Eagle Gate for just over 2 years. Absolutely love my colleagues. Miss my colleagues who have left me. Us. I take it more personal, maybe. I've been with Raina the last couple months, so it's been fabulous.
Thank you. Love you, Sheila. You are the best. You are the best. Really helped me a lot. Let's start with me. My name is Rana. I knew at your group, at Unitec, like I think 2 months, almost 2 months. Originally, I'm from Jordan. I live in California. I worked before with West Coast, with Cal State. I'm still like kind of part-timer with the Cal State and several colleges. And now with Unitec full-time. I like my experience with you guys who are really very fantastic, like she said. Sheila is training me, and she's really very, very nice, and she helped me a lot with everything. She's always there if I want to ask her any question, anytime, day, night, she doesn't sleep at all. Thank you so much. Yeah, without her, I can't do anything. She's really was always there for me. And so happy to meet you guys. Thank you.
I'll go next. I'm Diane, and I wish we and Ann both wish we could be there very much. We missed the Holiday Inn Express. I've been with Eagle Gate since about 2015, and this is a great place to work. The colleagues are just fantastic. We have a really nice working group, so nice to be working with everybody.
Well, I guess I'll go. And I'm Ann, and I'm from Wisconsin, and been working with Eagle Gate. It'll be 2 years in December, and it is. I just really have enjoyed Eagle Gate, and I really love working with the colleagues. And that's what's so frustrating is that I'm not out there with you, because when we all get together, it's just great to be, like being able to have that cup of coffee or breakfast with each other. So I'm certainly was out there, and I just love Eagle Gate and love working online. So.
I'll go. Hi, everybody. I'm Amelia. I have been in January, and it's been a great experience. So, working with the team, everybody's really cohesive, and I'm loving my time here at Eagle Gate. So, here's Carly.
Carly, we're having a hard time hearing you.
Oh, sorry. I think
Better.
sorry. I'm Carly. I'm the only local one. So I live here in Utah. I've been here 2 years, and I really love it. I love working online. I'm so sad. I'm telling you, the Denver airport is like, it's a bad omen.
Yeah, it is.
Bad one.
We will never fly through there again, we decided, to get to Salt Lake City.
So bad that you got roundabout, but it's and they don't really work with you. Like when your flight's okay, it's sort of.
Yeah.
Sorry about
We
that.
found that out. We found that out.
Well, welcome everybody. I'm so glad. I know I'll see some of you at the picnic today, and those of you that can't be there, I feel very badly for your travel journey issues because I've had those experiences myself. So this trip was very smooth, though. I came direct from Pittsburgh to Salt Lake City, which was a joy. So I got to avoid a big airport. So that was fun. So anyway, we'll be traveling over with Andy. I'll be traveling with Andy over to the picnic. I guess Margaret is on PTO right now. And Sheila, I know we have something you and Diane and I need to discuss after the meeting related to one of your grades. So we'll make sure I don't forget that. So again, my name's Carol. I'm your new fearless leader. I don't know if I'll be as fearless as Lois, but I'll sure give it a try. And so I think you'll get to know me. I'm very transparent. If there's an issue or problem, don't ever be afraid to ask. I keep looking at my little notebook here, and that's why I'm looking down and looking away. Not that I don't value you. I've been teaching online and doing online work since 1995. I was a pioneer in helping develop online programs, and I'm an accreditor for CNEA. I also am a site visitor for the Distance Education Technology Commission, which visits online programs, both high school and college programs. So I'm very comfortable with online everything. Canvas, I don't know as well administratively as I do Blackboard, but I'm a pretty quick study. So I have a PhD from the University of Pittsburgh from many years ago, 1995. I got my master's in 1980. And I'm old enough that I met all of the nurse theorists that you read about in your books. So I've been around a while. And kind of at a great point in my career where I can help other people with their aspects and processes. I just completed all my coursework at Catholic University in Washington, D.C. for my DNP degree. And so you can see I'm a lifelong learner. Insane perhaps, but I have 3 chapters of my project done. I have to get IRB approval, and then I can do the final 2 chapters. And their program is like a PhD program. I can tell you because I have a PhD, so I can honestly tell you that. So that's a little bit about me. Like I said, I'm very transparent. Feel free to ask me any questions that you have. So kind of want to jump into the agenda here. And see, so you said you already approved the minutes. Did you do that virtually, Diane?
We
for
do
the
it.
last meeting?
Usually Lois sends it out after the meeting, and then we approve it online.
Did we do that for the?
So these we approved after the last meeting.
Yes, you did.
Okay, very good. So, and Carly, I think you've graciously agreed to take minutes today, and I thank you, thank you, thank you. So if you could reflect that in the minutes, I'd be so appreciated. All right, so moving right along, did everybody get the agenda?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And again, I apologize. I was trying to do this sooner, but it just wasn't working for me. I wanted to just circle back and ask if, to tell you all that Lois did talk to me about the STI application and being the secretary, and I agreed somewhat reluctantly to do that, but I'll do it. I've helped start chapters before, so that's okay. I wanted to circle back and ask about the ADP Cornerstone Learning Platform. Where are we with that? And did faculty give they would like to take to Indrani?
I'm not, I think we're still in the dark about how to upload information that we have obtained by going to the distance learning conference into ADP. Am I correct, everyone? Do you know how to do it? So we still need help with someone to show us how to do that.
I'm sorry, somebody needed help with the restroom here.
Oh. So we still need help with learning how to put our CEUs into ADP that are from the outside.
Okay, that are external to Eagle.
Right.
So who's in charge of that? Is that Indrani?
I think so.
No.
All right, I will circle back with her and ask her what kind of support we can get. Maybe we could do a faculty development or something like that. Or I find sometimes doing these things ourselves is a little bit challenging. To technical people, it's they just say it's so easy, it's so simple. But you all very quick studies would be real helpful, I think. So let me circle back with Indrani and ask her about that.
Okay.
Okay, then the next item, let's see, where am I? I'm flipping between screens here, and it's just confusing.
Okay. The next one you had listed was N332 Community Updates by Sherry.
Yeah. Yes, could I get an update on that, please?
I will need to talk to Sherry to make sure she had told me the course was completed. But I will do that today to make sure we have it to take to curriculum, which is in September.
Okay, I would really appreciate that because I really want to get that
right
put to rest.
So I'll give her a call, and I will get back to you, Carol, about that as soon as I get that information.
Thank you so much. Okay, and I seem to have lost my agenda. Diane, can you pop that agenda up on the screen? I apologize.
Can I pop it? Will you be able to see it from my screen? Can you see it?
Yeah.
I can share my screen with you.
Okay,
But then,
that's what I was meant to say.
Okay.
Okay, and then Diane has been helping with the transitions, and I just really appreciate that so much because, as you know, there's a lot to take in a very short period of time. And I think we've been doing pretty well as a team. And if I have questions, I can reach out to any of you. So I feel taken care of. But like I said, if you have grading issues, student issues, policy issues, just reach out to me and I'll be happy to do the best I can. And I think I put the wrong date on this. This should be the 23rd.
Okay, so
you the 23rd, not the 27th.
Does everyone see the agenda now?
I can see.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay,
So we are now.
Can you scroll up then?
Yeah, I know. I gotta scroll up. How do I scroll up? Hold on. Okay, there we go.
Okay, and then under a new business also, I wanted to just make sure we've done what we were supposed to do with regard to nursing 125, 312, and 504. Are we all good with those? The word for word and everything that needed to be done?
Okay, the word for word is in the master's courses. And I am not quite sure what was the business in 125. I think these are all things we took care of previously, but
We talked about 125 last time, Diane, about we talked about it and it had been taken care of or something. You guys
right,
remember?
I think Lois was making something.
I think it's in the minutes. That's what I was.
Anne, would you look in the minutes?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do right here.
I can pull them up too. Hold on, I got them.
Okay, I got them.
Okay, here it is on the screen.
Oh, you got it on the screen?
Yep. So
I gotta get back to
Oh,
Carly and Lois will double check that all updates are finished. Carly, are they finished?
For which courses?
For N125.
I'm not. I feel like it's been a while since we updated 155, so I'm going to say, yeah, I'm good. Oh, you know what? No, I remember what this was. It was a small thing on a rubric. Lois and I met. It took us 5 minutes. It was changed in the moment. We're good. 125 is
Okay.
totally good.
And
I
then
remember.
Ann,
It
are
was
you
very
good
small.
in
It stayed after.
N1?
And
Oops, sorry. Sorry.
yeah, so she stayed after with Lois.
Oh,
too, I
yes,
believe.
yes. Okay.
Okay, that's
And
what
I
these
met
were.
with Lois on that module 4, just like Carly, and we
Yeah.
just changed it in the moment. The rubric is, and the assignment is all updated in 312. Yes.
Yep. So we should be good with those.
And see,
Great, thank
in the minutes, it says Ann and Lois have already completed 312 updates.
And
So-
Lois and
Great.
I did as well.
Great, thank you. I just wanted to circle back and make sure.
And so that-
Good, and Final Four is as well.
All right, the next item was that Lois was going to circulate a copy of the completed self-study to everybody. Did everybody get a copy?
Yes.
Okay. What Lois and I did, we met a couple weeks ago before her last day, and we went through, and where it had Lois as the administrative person, we substituted my name and my credentials, so there has been another copy. If you'd like me to get that out to you, I certainly can.
Could
So
you
we're-
could you send that out to us, Carol? That would be great.
Sure. The only change, there were no substantive changes. It was the editorial of where Lois is on the charts as the dean. It has my name and my credential. So that is the only difference. There were no other changes made, but I will be glad to send that out. Okay. And let's see, under new business, and we can certainly add some new business because I know a couple people emailed me with agenda items. With regard to Turnitin scores and student plagiarism, I can pretty much tell you with a high degree of certainty, when students do this, the first thing they'll say is, no one told me, I didn't know I couldn't do that. And I talked with Andy yesterday, and I'm very clear that we are going to be firm and uphold the policy. And I know this is very difficult for faculty, but students cannot take another person's work and substitute it as their own without giving the primary author credit. A big part of our role with our policy is educating these students. And in many institutions, students from the 2 examples that I have seen would be expelled from the program. No ifs, ands, buts, or ors. It is stealing another person's work. It is illegal. So we have to be firm, but we also have to educate. So what I'm advocating is that we let the program director know that this has occurred. And when I say program director, I'm probably not using the right term. Campus dean, Andy and Margaret. Let them know and not ask their permission. Just say, this is not in accordance with policy. This is what we want to happen. And that would be a letter in the student's file and a 0 grade on the assignment. And if you have any questions about that, feel free to ask me, because the examples I have seen are blatant plagiarism.
I have a question on this. I thought particularly with one student this semester in the discussion, but I don't know if anyone else is having this experience. It was a little bit tricky because she would put some things in quotes, and then I would catch almost direct quotes that were not in quotes, but there was just enough of her own that the whole thing wasn't plagiarized, so I wasn't sure. I took off for obviously the 80/20, and I usually took off for contribution as is an APA because things are cited appropriately with quotations, but I wasn't sure if that whole thing should just receive a 0. So I guess I'm not sure how harsh to be. I continued to give feedback. The student did it 2 or 3 weeks in a row. I finally wrote an email. But by then the course was over. And so I'm wondering, should I be giving a 0 right off the bat?
Absolutely, absolutely. And another thing that students absolutely cannot do is have a paper or a discussion that is entirely direct quotes.
Yeah,
Even if
and
they
it
have,
wasn't entirely.
No,
There was like
no.
not their own phrasing, but it was
Right.
still
but if it is very closely paraphrased, it should have a page number as well.
right, and it
Because-
should be really in quotations.
Absolutely. And the time to stop it is when you first see it, nip it in the bud, have the critical conversation with the student. If you need me to meet with you and the student, I'll be happy to do so and make it very clear.
Great. I'll just start giving zeros across the board.
And
because I
the
know
other thing we have to do is be proactive and put a note in the student's file that this happened. Because I guarantee you what will happen, they'll go to someone else's class and say, no one ever told me.
Okay, I will give zeros and go to Andy or Margaret immediately.
And
Thank
like I
you.
said, they'll be a lot less unhappy early than if they fail later. That gets into a much more complex situation. They say, well, you should have told me sooner. So just let me know. We can do this on a case-by-case basis. And as difficult as it is, but not if you don't teach them that this is not appropriate. And I will tell you, I could tell you stories about being at national meetings where people from, one of the speakers was a president for one of the national nurse practitioner meetings, and she got up to give her presentation, and the Disney people were there, and they challenged her on her logos that she was using, or little, pictures. And they said, this is a $10,000 fine for using our picture that you did not have permission to use. So I'm telling you, this is critical. It's all over the globe. And we want to be sure our students are in the know as they start their education with us. So, again, I could tell you story after story, but we have to protect them from themselves sometimes.
Okay, I will do that moving forward. Thank you.
So Carly, were you just reading through the discussion? Because I know we know Canvas doesn't allow us yet to do that with Turnitin, but it just sounded different.
I got it, yes. So I just highlighted some of the text and right-clicked search Google, and sure enough, it would pop up. The thing that was tricky is she had some things in quotes and then other things not. So this was very much intentional because some things were quoted. So she knew to use quotations. It wasn't like sometimes students, just don't use quotes at all. But it was. So I think it was kind of trying to skirt under the 80-20 rule. But that is tricky to catch sometimes. And I'm sure I've missed it because, if it's not in quotations, you don't immediately look at it. So it was a little tricky. In the past, I know we've kind of done this sort of thing, and I was instructed more to let students know that's not appropriate, what I was doing. But I'll just go zero across the board. I think you're right. We have to, it's better now. It's better to.
Yeah.
Good. And you can course announcement about that if they have questions about it. I have standard course announcements that I post at the beginning when I teach a course, and I just say, I just want to make you aware this is still an issue, and want to be sure that you're in the know, and try to educate them up front. Now, moving on.
Wait, Carol, I have a question. Carol, this is Diane. I just have a question. You had mentioned that we're going to keep it in the student's file. In the past, we used Campus View, but that's no longer available to us. So I think we need to find a way to, a place to put these records. And I don't think online we have that at this point.
Right, that's what I was saying. I would alert Andy and Margaret and have them put it in the student file.
Okay, so then have that, make sure we tell that they'll be putting it in the student file. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
As far as the distance teaching and learning conference, I know some people had some difficulty getting in, but I just wanted to circle back and see how that was, and if you found that to be effective, and if we could reflect that in our minutes. How many attended, and was it good, and would you do it again?
This is Diane. I hate to go first.
I attended, and there was some really interesting stuff. So it was easy to get into, and apparently we can still go back and look at some of the, I forget how long, I think we have like 90 days or maybe even 6 months to go back and look at the other presentations that were, there were presentations going on at the same time, so you had to choose. But there were some very helpful teaching strategies from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was very well done. I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm.
I think it's a great conference. It'd be nice to go in person some year because there's so many more options if you're on ground. But it is, I think it's a great conference. Oh, and I talked to Bridget, and we will be getting our CEUs. She said they should be coming this week. Our one CEU.
Thank you for reminding me.
Thank you for reminding me. Thank you, Sheila, for.
I'm like, whoa, I got to do that.
Right, you have to tell her first, and then the people who put it in right away will be getting it this week.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Diane.
For those of you, you might be waiting a few more weeks, but that's okay.
Well, I enjoyed it quite a bit. I was just saying to Carly that I plan to use that little mini podcast option for this upcoming term to see how that works, and just do a brief overview each week of what the student can expect, and do that, and just see if that will be a beneficial item. But I really think that I really got a lot out of the that session where they were talking about different tools that you can use to better communicate with the students. So.
Yeah.
Super. Well, thanks for sharing. And as far as student handbook changes, I had asked how we do that because I'm very sensitive to that from my previous roles and previous lives. And I was told that the student handbook is always shared with students when they start their program. And I believe the handbook is in all courses under the resource page. Are you all aware of that?
Yes.
Okay. Good. So I would just always encourage students, I'll try to keep you apprised if there are any changes that I'm aware of, so we can put an announcement in the course and let the students know to take a look at their handbook, because I feel that process really needs to be a closed loop and not just assume that students know when things are updated. And then also, I was reading the old minutes about faculty and ATI website navigation, and that we had some specific faculty needs. Can you tell me what those were or are, and if that has been closed, if that's been resolved?
This is Diane. From my understanding, I think we're okay, but anyone else want to add anything?
No, specifically for this semester for nutrition, I think students need an update as well. I know Margaret provided a non-mandatory ATI kind of update in her class because a lot of students couldn't come to some Q&A sessions because they were supposedly going to the ATI. I think they need to know how to navigate it as well, like specific for our custom exams. For nutrition, we had quite a few students who took the ATI online nutrition assessment A, even though we had customized an exam and gave them the ID and password. They still took a nutrition assessment, but it was the wrong one. It was the one that had 60 questions versus 50 questions. And scores were considerably different between the custom-made one and the other one. So I think students themselves need to have an update on how to use ATI, how to find a custom exam when you have a custom exam. And then, any time that something is new through ATI, because I know it's always changing, do they automatically contact their schools and say, hey, this has been updated, you might want to learn about this? Because I think some things have been updated that we're not aware of.
Anne, do you know the answer to that? You've worked with ATI.
Are we supposed to take something like training for the ATI, or am I missing something? Because I'm new I don't know about how the ATI is going here with the students. They kept asking questions. I don't know how to answer. I can always turn to Sheila. I think they need to, the ATI for businesses need to be mandatory, something for them to enforce them to read about the ATI, and we need some kind of a plan for us, or at least contact person who can help us in the ATI. Oh, I don't know.
We originally, when they came, we all took a course on ATI. Do you remember that, everyone? And maybe we need to have that set up for new faculty members. So we have
I'd
to.
like to bring it again because, like I said, I think things are always evolving, which they should be, as things change. And I think, I'm not sure how good they are about updating their schools when they've made a change or anything like that. So,
I haven't had any students that couldn't until like in 322 and in 344 we have custom tests, and I have had sections in both of those courses. And I haven't had any students take the wrong test. So, but I can see how they might, they just go nutrition and they go whatever. So I think that the instructions in the module, this group, this cohort that in nutrition, maybe they just aren't reading them.
I don't think they are. They're not because they get right in and they're like, oh, here's a online nutrition program. I'm going to take that, and it's on them. They have to read. They have to
go to the assignment, follow the instructions, and the biggest problem is the students are looking for their when they do an actual proctored exam, there's something that they click on and it's all done online and it times them. They can't find their topics to review is the biggest problem for the custom test.
Yes.
All they have to do, and it's in the instructions, is all they have to do is download the report on the downloaded report, but they're trying to click here, click here, click here. So that's the biggest issue. And I think that I don't know how to get, like if you have a cohort that's just like in their groove and they're doing what they always do and they don't read the instructions, I don't know if you could email them and say, look at the instructions or you will be taking the wrong test. I don't know. But everything is right there.
Or like what Margaret said, is she offered an ATI,
right.
Maybe make that mandatory. I mean, really, that's,
right.
that's, I don't know.
Because then they get their questions answered.
Yeah, an ATI, because I know a lot of students supposedly went instead of coming to a QA, but maybe make it mandatory that they.
But this last semester, I had 2 sections of 322, so there was like 50 students there, and I had like 24 students in 344. So I had almost 75 students. Not a one took the wrong test, but it's a different, just a different cohort. And I think if that lead person, there's always a person that always goes first in the discussions and always does whatever. I think everybody follows them. So I don't know how to stop that when you've got a cohort doing that, other than, like you say, a mandatory Q&A on ground could help, or email them.
In our course overview, but then we have maybe one student show up, so.
Right.
And then I even had 2 of them take pharmacology. I had to give them a 0.
Oh, wow.
Part of that is they're not reading the instructions.
They're not reading their instructions. I would send them an email or make a specific announcement.
And then they tell you when they
Submission also, they don't know how to submit the work. They submit in the wrong manner. They turn it in. I had a lot of problems like this with students.
Yeah.
And I had to email them to resubmit, and it will be late by then. So it's I don't know.
Carol, do you want to follow up on that?
Yeah, let me circle back and see what I can figure out, and I try to identify with Margaret and Andy, what the issues are on their end about this.
Carol, I had 2 students out of those 75 that submitted took the test, but didn't do the remediation, tried to submit the remediation late. In the instructions, it clearly says that if you start the test too late to finish your hour of remediation, you will not get credit for the assignment. So it's all nothing. And so I had like this email exchange with this student. She said, but I did the test. I should at least get credit for the test. And I said, the instructions say this. And then she finally came back and said, well, I guess before I got credit for doing my test only. And we're all supposed to be the same with on ground and online. And so I guess that's one thing I would just make sure that our instructions are the same, because we don't want to be different. We want to all be the same across the college. We can't have separate rules for on-ground ATI. You can submit your remediation late, but you can get credit for, or you can get credit for doing part of it. It's all or nothing. It's 20 points. It's 20 points. And that was a decision made between on ground and online, I think. And so for 20 points out of 1,000, they either do it or they don't. That's just my concern, is that there's maybe a different rule going on somewhere.
That's very possible. And Diane, do you know anything about that?
Well, we do custom tests, and that is different than the online people who do custom tests, and that's different from on ground where they are getting time for their remediation. But it is all in the instructions. Possibly a podcast or a video might help them understand the difference, but that depends if they watch it or not. So we can talk to Andy and Margaret to make sure that everybody's doing the same thing. I think that would help, right? That would be part of the problem. The other thing is, Sheila, would you mind looking into finding out, remember when we took that course for ATI, finding out who the contact person is, and maybe we could set that up they could set that up for all new faculty so they can go through that course?
Yes.
And I didn't hear anything.
I'm trying to eat my muffin my son made me
Okay.
at the same time. So yes.
Oh, okay, I can't see anybody's face because I have the agenda.
Oh,
So could you
giving
do
you the
that?
thumbs up, Diane.
Okay, you give me, okay. I only see the agenda.
I was giving you the finger. It's okay.
Okay, thank you. So you'll look, and then maybe, then we'll always know who to contact, so that's available for anybody who wants a refresher or hasn't seen it yet.
Okay, so thank you for that. That's going to be real helpful. Also, we have faculty selected their courses for September, so everything is good for session 1.
Right,
And I saw we only had, there were only 2 sections of, was that 330, Diane?
Here is this is what was decided at the last meeting. I don't know if there are any changes. We'd have to find that out from Mandy. So does anybody have any questions about that?
I think we sent this out. Do we all have it? I think we do.
Yes.
We all got our courses the other day. From Mandy, I think, so.
Yeah, Mandy's been loading them in. I know I have my 3.
Yeah, I was thinking we were down a section of 330. Somebody wasn't going to be teaching. I think there was an email. I might have dreamed it, but I was thinking it was 330. That we were only going to have 2 sections. Is that correct? Did I dream that?
think so. Yeah, because usually we have 3, but I think we split 1 or 2. Right, Ann?
Right, I didn't get any emails on it. And maybe there's not enough people for 3 sections.
I think that's what it was, and I think it was 3:30.
I had an NUR 500 that was kind of on hold, depending on whether or not we had students. Can you tell me if there are students in that course, Carol?
I don't know at this point. I
Okay.
believe we will have somebody in it
Okay.
because I think they're starting the nurse education cohort, and they would be taking the same first-year courses as the leadership students.
Okay, it just wasn't added into Canvas, so I had assumed maybe there was a student, but I'll get with Mandy.
I think, and I'll be talking to Mandy today. She'll be here at the picnic, so we can maybe talk with her about that as well.
Great.
Okay, good. And our next item?
Hold on.
Thank you so much for sharing your screen.
So, okay, you asked about the self-study.
Yeah, I already did
Is that
that. And
done?
of course, maps are all done for those first-year MSN courses. How about the book, the textbook? How about using the textbook in your discussion? Has everybody followed up with that best practice that Lois told me about?
Yes.
I haven't had a chance to look at. I haven't looked at the outcome data, so I don't know. That's all starting to come in, but of course, I haven't had a chance to look at that yet. So.
Yeah.
We are supposed to be using, in all our discussions, we are to be putting in 1 comment per discussion that is referenced. And if they have a textbook, we were encouraged to use the textbook in those references. So the students would go back and, ask them a question and utilize a textbook related to the question.
Mm-hmm.
And some students still come back and say they have never gotten the textbook. So I guess that's on them.
Right, they get all their textbooks. They're all online textbooks, and they get the codes in the beginning, so they have the textbooks.
Great. Okay, all right, let's take a moment now. I know some people asked to add some agenda items, so let's go ahead and add those so we can finish on time.
So this is Sheila, and I'll speak for both Raina and I, but we know that students get access to
Office 365.
Yes. And so we need to really make sure, maybe put in an announcement stating, please make sure you utilize and download your resources, because what they're handing in are dot pages and Keynote. And those are hard to open, and they do not go through Turnitin. And so I don't know if that's a way students are getting by not utilizing Turnitin, but I've gotten into the habit of going in before the assignment is due, and if they've got the dot pages, I send them an email and state, I see you have a dot page, I can't open it, I need you to transfer it to Word. And sometimes I get feedback like, well, you can't do that, I don't know how. It's very easy to change it to a Word document, very easy on Keynote as well. So I think we maybe can add an announcement stating to make sure and utilize Microsoft 365 because we need this stuff to go through Turnitin. We need it to be consistent. We need to be able to open it instead of trying to find these students after it's been submitted and have them resubmit. It takes a lot of extra time. So.
Well, and I think we could warn them that if that happens, I've had this happen in several where they saved it in, pages, and I couldn't open it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a and if that's the case, and I have to track you down to resubmit it, it's late.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I have students really upset about that. Like, I turned that in, how dare you? But it's like, you turned in an unreadable document. not turning it in. And that could potentially be a way to get past the deadline too. I had a
Yes.
student, I think she was trying to extra days because she was turning me in unreadable documents. And I mean, one time, but she was happening again.
Okay,
So I think that could be added to our announcement that, hey, it'll be late.
So Carol,
Would
we
you
had,
Go
we
ahead.
made an announcement a while ago. Do you guys remember that? And I can send it out about students are responsible for handing in documents in the proper form. And we put that in our announcements. So maybe we could add the Office 65 and add that announcement again at the beginning of these classes.
I think that's a great idea, and have it just be, a standard announcement that goes in the course. You should not be having to babysit or remind the students. Students are students. They're people and they have behaviors, and you shouldn't have to be. I absolutely would not go in there and look and see what form it's in. I would just say you didn't do it properly, you get a 0.
Right, and that's what we had said in this
I'm
announcement.
very. So let's get an announcement. So Diane, send me that language. And then once we all look at it, we can let Mandy upload that into all the courses. Maybe she'll do that for us.
Okay, I will send that
Do we
out.
have that in our syllabi?
I don't think this one is. I
I
can
mean, I'm
look.
wondering, should this be in the student handbook?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because, otherwise it's like, well, this instructor, the online instructors are so whatever, but if it's in the student handbook, we can reinforce that, here's our announcement per the student handbook. You
I
are
think it gives us
responsible.
more clout, and I like that idea. We can refer them back to the student handbook. So that's even better than putting it in the syllabus.
Excellent suggestion. And so you do have a late work policy. We could maybe even put it in there. But we can take a look at how to integrate that into the handbook.
Okay, it isn't in there. I'm just looking in my syllabus, but it's not. So, okay.
All right, let's make sure we circle back and up. So we'll get that language and see what we need to do to buckle it down for this session, and then try to get it into the handbook in a timely manner.
Okay.
Great suggestions.
Carol, I was just using, oh my gosh, I have a list here. Now I lost my train of thought. Should we go over who's covering for who? Because we have a lot of people going out of town, and maybe just kind of go over that. It's in the minutes. Would you mind if we do that?
That's great.
No, I don't mind at all.
Okay, I think, where am I here? It's in the minutes, I thought. Why are my minutes not going up? Here we go, okay. All right, here it is, upcoming PTO coverage. I think I'm gone first, so I'm at the bottom. And Ann and Carly are covering for me. And then Amelia is off September. Actually, I'm gone the first week. I took the dates you have to cover for me is the first week because I'm gone this next week and there's no classes. So you're only covering for me for NUR 312 for the first week. And
Sorry, I just want to put it in the minutes.
okay. So it's
Yeah, and Anne is covering something. I don't think there's a complete number there. Where it says Carly is off September 12th through 18th. Sheila will cover nursing 500. Anne will cover nursing. That's not a complete number. Could you add the
It's 330, I believe.
330?
Right, Carl?
I'm in 330 and 340 next session, I believe. Yeah, informatics and aging populations.
So we need to let Mindy know, somebody does,
I'll
about
tell her today.
courses that, yeah, maybe that's how we'll do it then, Carly. That's a good idea.
I will just copy and paste this from the minutes from this meeting and email it to Mandy. I'll let her know that it's on her way.
She sent an email out, didn't she? Just like last week about, she's putting us all in
in everywhere.
Be everywhere.
Everywhere.
A good reminder is always wonderful, at least for me, so,
I'll tell her and I'll just copy and paste that in an email. So it's written. So
okay.
Okay, so we're all aware of what we're doing, right?
Yep.
Okay. Great. Wrong one. Okay. Anything else?
Any other additions to the agenda?
We all have our word for word, and that has to be done by Tuesday, correct, Carol?
Correct.
And
How's that going?
I will start today.
I'm doing mine
I'm starting
today.
today.
It's, I believe there are a lot of issues with APA and grammar, so just FYI.
Mandy also said to double check rubrics and scores and make sure everything matches.
Do we just write down what we find is wrong, or do we have the opportunity to update it, edit it?
What do you think?
I think we need to go through Mandy first, don't we? For these, like, yeah, for the master courses, for the mother courses, I think we are supposed to at least let her know.
So we just make a big list and send it to her?
I
or-
probably would. I can ask her at the picnic, but I know that now if you do anything, it just goes to all the courses. So I'll ask her.
I would think if it's just a grammar thing like a comma or something, you could make those changes.
Right.
I don't know if we have access to do that. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if we.
Okay, right. You'd have to have the edit access, and you're right. It might be locked. I'll have to find. Frank, can you find that out, Carly?
Yeah, I will. So I wonder if we can change things that are unlocked to us. I'll ask her. I'll double check.
I can look
I
on
can go
mine
in
right now. Hold
if I
on.
can get into my course. Let me see if I can get in.
Can you just send Mandy an email like those word by word? The faculty are to make them themselves, or if they need to go through.
Yeah.
If we could just do that, because I'm really just worried about getting this done since people are going to work on it today. I'd just like her to clarify that if she could.
I'll either call her or I'm just trying to see if I can get into. This is one of the courses that's for edit. And hold on.
Yeah, I don't.
If it's not locked, see, it's not locked up here, so we should be able to make the grammar changes for sure.
I don't even have access for my word by word yet. I just saw it. I don't have the course listed.
She didn't send it to you?
Nope. I'm supposed to do word for word by for what 50.
I had to go back to the minutes. I'd have to go back and check. There was, I think, 520 and 526.
Yeah, 526, I think, and I don't have it on my list.
So you didn't get access to it. I'll send her an email right away.
Yeah, I need to get it. I wish Mandy was here.
I'll send her an email or call her.
So Diane, you will?
Yeah, I can email her about changes, and I will email her about if everybody's got their courses.
Yeah, because I don't have mine in my courses.
Okay. Announcements. Okay. Is there anything else, Carol?
No, I don't have anything else. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to bring forward?
I want to see all your smiling faces. I probably can see the agenda. So
our grading needs to be in by end of business day today.
correct.
What is it?
Grades have to
Grades?
be in by Friday, and remember to round up or round down at 0.5. 0.5 you round up.
So
Then
you
we
guys
have-
will have, you guys on ground today in Utah will have time after your barbecue or after your picnic to do that, or have you already done it? Amelia and Carly, you guys have your grades in yet, or will you have time to do that?
Mine
Oh,
are
you're
done.
done?
I had a almost 4-hour layover in Chicago yesterday, so I have plenty of time to.
We did ours on the, we didn't, I put my grades in this morning, but we did all our other stuff on the plane yesterday. On one plane, right?
So Rena, you and you'll probably need help doing that, correct?
I did my grades. We need to round it up, so.
Well,
Yeah.
you probably did your attendance and
Yeah.
put your grades in with those, but we need to put final grades in. So maybe Amelia or Carly could help you do that while you're face to face with the technology aspect. Would one of you guys help Rena put her final grades in?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
And then remember to get your end of course checklists in and get your checklists for the new course.
Yes, and Rena and I'll have to, we'll meet, Rena, after you look at the course survey I sent you via email, just to look at that and see if you want me to add anything. And then what you do is you just go ahead and change your name. You know, take my name off, put yours on, and then put your two courses, your two 310 courses on there. And then maybe Amelia and or Carly can show you how to upload that into your faculty course shell while you're there.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, ladies. I appreciate it.
Happy to help.
Thank you.
Okay.
Like to bring forward or discuss or share?
Should we, Carol and Sheila and I, do you want to stay on the meeting to discuss the other concern when everybody signs off?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Where are you going? I know that.
So have a
Thanks,
nice time at the picnic, everybody. We wish we were there.
Yeah, we wish we were there.
No. It's fun.
Are we online then? I
Take
missed it.
care, everybody.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, it's just us. So, so you sent a notice to Margaret, but Margaret's been gone.
Yeah, and usually it comes back stating she's gone. So I've been sitting here waiting, and thank God for Carol letting me know that
Well,
Margaret.
I hope I'm correct because I was in a meeting with Nikki and Andy yesterday. And
She's not ever gotten back to me, so I'm sure the student has never been able to get in touch with her. So that causes the little anxiety for the student because she has reached out to me and I've not reached out to her because I didn't know.
well, here's
what-
the other thing we could do. I don't like to do it because it's not an appropriate use, but you could give her an incomplete and then tell her that we'll adjust the grade once Margaret's back. But Margaret should have somebody covering for her if she's away. Diane, is there a way you could call Mandy and ask her? Would she know?
Sure, I'll call Mandy. Who's covering for Margaret? I don't think anybody is.
Well, I mean, my thing, Carol, is, with the plagiarism and upholding that, I don't know that her grade would change if I gave her an incomplete. So,
Will she fail the course if you give her a 0?
Yes.
Will she fail the course if she got a passing grade?
No.
She would pass the course?
If I graded it, I mean, how would I grade it?
Let's say she got, well, if you go ahead and grade it and give her the grade, and if she still would fail the course, would it make a difference?
She would pass the course.
She would pass the course. Okay.
But the areas that she plagiarized are the 2 slides under, it says my take. And so she was summarizing, and it's her take on what was summarized, but it's all plagiarized. So honestly, how can it be her take if it's all plagiarized? It's not her words.
Right. I actually had a student in 322 who copied and pasted on his PowerPoint, and he met with Andy and he got a 0, and he did fail the course. So,
I mean, she reached out to me. I can read you her email. I've not responded back because obviously she's not been able to meet with Margaret, which I feel bad about.
trying to get Margaret's number here. But with this new email, they don't show the numbers anymore. Shoot.
So Tiffany wrote back and said, is there any way I can fix this? I can't fail this class. I truly tried to do what was asked. I'm out of state for our break, but I can do my best. I can't take a 0 and retake this class. I've not responded back to her because I wasn't aware that Margaret was out until Carol let me know.
Well, again, I think that that's what I heard just in passing between Nikki and Andy.
Sheila, have you tried calling Margaret?
That would make sense, Carol.
Pardon?
She's not responded to me. Margaret's not followed up with me, so it would make sense that she's out. But somebody should be covering for her. I'm just
Right,
surprised.
absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
Sheila, have you tried calling her?
No?
Call her and see if you can get her a hold of her. I can give you her number.
Well, I mean, if she's on PTO, she's not responding to emails. I would think that she would respond to emails.
Right. I usually call the person and
I've
send
never
them
had
an
to do that
email.
before.
Okay. That's what I do if I don't get an answer, just because I'm like, help. Here's her number, 801-818-8955. And in the meantime, I'll call Mandy and see if anybody's covering for her, but I doubt it. But I will find that
Yeah,
out.
I think that's, yeah. Because, I need this student to talk with Margaret so she understands moving forward, because she won't be able to move forward like she needs to.
Right.
But you need to give her you need to do your grades on time.
Yeah.
And as I'm of the opinion, it needs to be a 0, and if she fails the course, she fails the course. She had other opportunities.
Yeah. You know, Carol, if she meets with Margaret and whatever you guys decide, if I was wrong or everything looks okay, I can do a change of grade form. I
already reviewed what you said, and I'm not changing my mind.
Okay.
So then we've made a decision. It's a 0, right? And just try. And I would just call Margaret and let her know that this was our decision, and she's not there. So.
Well, I would just let her know that we made a decision. You assigned a grade based on the information you have, and she can discuss it with Margaret for follow-up. And Margaret, meeting with her, that has nothing to do with you, Sheila. That's not your problem.
Yeah.
And the student could always do a grade appeal,
sure,
right?
Absolutely.
And that way, and you handle it that way. So that way you can get your grades in. So.
Now, is Margaret her advisor?
No,
her campus dean. Her advisor, I think they just go to their campus dean.
Yeah, and so Margaret can advise her what her options are and what her, what her options are based on. But if she wants to appeal it, she certainly can do that. Margaret can inform her. I would just say, regrettably, you did not pass the course. I'm sorry about that. Please plan for follow-up with Margaret. And that takes it out of your hands. You don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
That sounds good.
I mean, I look really hard at students, and I look really hard at their PowerPoints and their papers, and it's not an easy decision, like you said, Carol. But it's very obvious, and you cannot not see it.
Well, that's one of the tough parts about transitioning from one role to another. And it's a lesson you have to learn, as tough as it is. And if they don't learn it, don't get it. But everybody else seems to be. So
yeah.
And I feel bad. I told Andy yesterday and Mickey, I said, look, I'll talk to these students if you want me to, and make it very clear that it's a law. You cannot break a law.
Right.
Policy is a law.
And Andy is
Okay.
very,
All right.
I've had 2 students this semester. He's been very great at upholding the policy and talking to the
Good.
students right away. So it's been really helpful.
Okay.
So,
Well, I appreciate your support, ladies.
thank
Well,
you.
it's a tough job, but you know what? We appreciate you noticing it because a lot of faculty would just gloss over it, Sheila. And you can't do that because that's ethically and morally incorrect.
Yep.
So you're doing your job. You're doing what
Yep.
you're paid to do.
Okay.
All right. Well, I will see the
All right.
picnic. And
You won't see us at the picnic, darn.
thanks, everybody, for all your good support and all your hard work.
Okay.
Thank you.
All
Bye.
right. Bye-bye, everybody.
I'm going to call Mandy right now. So I'm ending the
Okay, bye.
recording. So
Okay,
she-
bye.
Bye.